What's up, nerds? Welcome to NGR Radio, episode 41. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Deering, and alongside me, as always, the pride of Philadelphia, Matt Field. Matt, I'm so glad you're here.
I highly doubt Philadelphia is proud to have me within its borders, but thank you, sir. How are you?
That's not true. I'm good. I am great, actually. A little tired, a little too much Zelda wrapping it up last night.
Too much dropping Koroks off at the pool, huh?
Yeah. The trophy smells kind of funny. I don't know if you know that. Joining us, well, right now, one half of Fathers of the Grind, Tim Nestor. Tim, I'm glad we have a full episode with you today. Well, I do. Last time you guys were on, the
best daddy grinder.
Last time you guys were on, I joined real late. So
That's right.
Yep.
So,
and we were in the middle of talking music, and they were laughing at me for like an Incubus. It was interesting.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Didn't Corey come in when we were talking about religion?
I think so.
That was a weird time to jump into that.
It's a good time.
It's a perfect time. Perfect time to jump in.
Good times. Oh man, what have you guys been playing? Anything besides Zelda?
I have actually been playing Dark Souls 2 again. Game's fun
because why not?
Like I think among Souls fans, that's probably considered to be the worst of the series. But having gotten through like a few of the major bosses this past weekend, I'm actually starting to think, despite it being probably the worst in that series, it's by no means even close to being a bad game. So there's that. That game's still really fun, and the PS4 version is way different than the PS3 version in a lot of cool ways. Also, kind of jumping back into Dark Souls 3 because why not? And
hey, when you jump back into those games, Matt, do you start at the beginning? Is it one of those games where it's like fun to roll a new character and start from scratch, or is it better to jump in and kind of get back in the groove with your existing superpowered characters?
I thought about just rolling through another playthrough, but I actually one of the ways I like to play those games is I like to actually role play it a little differently because I think the Souls series pulls out the leveling idea. It extracts it like from D&D and tabletop role playing games really well. So you really have to pay attention to what you're leveling up and sort of play in accordance to that.
Right.
Like Bloodborne takes some liberties with that system, but Dark Souls is really rigid.
Gotcha.
So I've not played as a straight up caster in Dark Souls 3 as I have the other games, so I'm actually sort of leaning that way this time out.
Cool. Nice.
And I haven't played the DLC either, so I'm like, you know what, I'll just play as a new character, go through everything, and I'll probably do it 2 or 3 times because I'm that kind of masochistic. And yeah, the game's still good, still my favorite game of 2016.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Are you excited for this new one that they just announced? This vampire RPG thing?
That's not From Software. So, I mean, it looks cool. It looks like Dokuro from Vita, which is fine. But
isn't the vampire one the Don't Nod? Isn't it the Life is Strange people? Or
it's the God Eater people.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay.
So, and I've never played the God Eater series. I know Moose has played it and he's spoken very highly of it. I've never tried it, but I think this looks really cool, and I think the art style of Dokuro is a necessary thing in video games. So I'll definitely watch that space.
Yeah, the one I'm thinking about is called Vampire with a Y. That is Don't Nod, but I think the one that Corey's referring to is a different one. So
yeah,
this one's called Code Vein, and it's a dungeon exploration type hard action RPG.
Nice.
And the tagline was "Prepare to dine."
Clever.
Which is like, I see what you're doing, Bandai Namco.
I like the art. I like the art direction though of this game. looks
As
really
someone
cool.
who appreciates a good dad joke, I like that tagline. I approve.
Oh. Tim, what have you been playing?
I've been playing Zelda, working my way through that. I finally I'm trying to knock some games off the backlog. And it's not like it's a slow time of the year, but having just finished Horizon, I just figured it was time to knock some stuff out from 2016. So I played Battlefield 1 for the first time. That was a really great campaign. If you like if you're a history nut at all, and I'm a quasi history fan, at least I'm not a history nut, but man, that was really cool. That World War I stuff was awesome. And the little story, they tell these mini stories, there's 5 mini stories, and they're really fascinating. So I loved that game. And I also played, I'm playing Mad Max on my PS4 as well. Got it on sale for like whatever that was, like $7 or $8 on one of those crazy sales they had. And I grabbed it, and then it's fun. I'm only maybe 6 or 7 missions in, but it's really cool. I've upgraded my car a few times, and I've got my wacky hunchback friend in the back of my vehicle talking to me the whole time. It's really cool. I like it. It's bizarre. It kind of has it's like Borderlands, but much darker in terms. And people know what Mad Max is, but like in terms of its characters and the people that you fight, the different scavengers and such that you're fighting, it has a Borderlands vibe because you're killing everyone that you can, and then you're looting everything. So it's good. I like it.
Nice.
Cool. Post-apocalyptic Igor. I like it.
Yeah, it's not bad. And I've been playing my Switch too. I'm playing a lot of the little indie games, like Graceful Explosion Machine. I love that game. I think that's a fantastic game. I really enjoy that. And then playing through the Shovel Knight Treasure Trove as well, which I'm having a blast with that. So
love Shovel Knight.
Yeah,
so good.
It's the first time I beat it, and then I also just beat Plague Knight this past week. They're really fun.
Nice. Yeah, I want to jump into Spectre of Torment. I didn't play Plague of Shadows, but a lot of people are saying like that's not exactly the one to jump into right now. So Spectre Knight looks cool though. I think
it's okay. I mean, the Plague Knight basically is always throwing bombs, and there's some really cool ways you can upgrade the way you lob them, and some of them you charge up for certain types of explosions. It's interesting, but I thought it was not quite as fun as Shovel Knight, and I've heard, like you just said, great things about Spectre Knight. So I wanted to play those first 2. Plague Knight was fun, but not as fun as Shovel Knight, so I'm hoping that Spectre Knight is great. So it's cool. I like him. Nice old school vibe.
Good gameplay too.
Yeah,
nice.
Really fun.
I'm not going to talk too much about what I've been playing because it's really just Zelda, and it's kind of all we've been talking about for like 3 months. I feel like it's Zelda. I 100%ed it. I'm done. So those Korok seeds were, man. Last night I was looking for the last one at like 1:30 in the morning, and every time I was scanning over this map that I've been using, I thought I knew which ones I had. And like I just kept scanning. The last one I needed was one I thought I already had, and it's in a very easy place. And I just didn't have it. I was like, oh, guess I don't have it. So that was kind of a anticlimactic Korok hunt. But Zelda was so good.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been trying to wrap my mind around like how good this game is compared to the hype of the Switch and Zelda. And now that we're like 6 weeks out, like I still feel the same way I did when I started playing it. And I spent 180 hours in this game, and I want to go back and start a new game and see how fast I can beat it now, or like, you know, I just want to keep playing this game. It's so good. I haven't felt this way about a game since Mario 64 and N64. Like where I just want to jump back in and keep playing and try to find more stuff to do. And there are 3 things that I haven't got that don't count towards your 100%. So I think I'm going to track those down. There's 3 subsections of mini bosses: the Talus stone monsters, and then the Hinox, and then the sea serpent things out in the desert. So you get a medal for defeating all of them. So I think I'm going to try to hunt that down. But other than that, I think I'm going to start playing. Mr. Shifty looks really cool. That's a game I want to start playing. So Mr. Shifty and Shovel Knight, I think, are next on my list until Mario Kart comes out next week. So,
did you like Hotline Miami? Did you like that game?
I did.
Yeah.
And I think Mr. Shifty looks like Hotline Miami with Nightcrawler powers, and that's all I need.
That's awesome.
That's all I need. So, good times at Zelda. I love the Switch. I don't really want to play anything else because the Switch has made it more convenient for me to play games. And Tim, I know you and I were talking a little bit before we started recording how convenient the Switch is for gaming. So,
yep.
Yeah.
Every game that's announced, I'm like, please say it's on the Switch too. Like, I just want everything on the Switch.
I know, I do too. And it kind of sucks that they didn't take that next step for like, because I was thinking like before it launched, I was like, man, I really hope this thing isn't over $300. But if they would have put that next step of Tegra chip in it, I would have gladly paid $400 for this thing just to have like even games like Persona or even Mass Effect to an extent. Like I would love to have those games on Switch, but I mean, we're getting what we're getting, and Zelda's no slouch of a game. So
yeah, I think their rollout for the rest of this year is looking pretty solid. I mean, we don't really know what's coming in August or September, I think, but it seems like almost every month there's some kind of marquee game. So I'm pretty pleased with it so far. I just, like you, I would love to have like Shadow of War or the new Assassin's Creed or Red Dead. I'd love to have those games on here. I'm just being realistic. I realize they won't be on here. And that's okay. There's plenty that I can still enjoy on it.
I think Ubisoft might try to put Assassin's Creed on this thing.
Don't put anything like that past Ubisoft. They'll try.
That'd be awesome.
I mean, they'll try at least one game. I don't think they're going to leave us with ports of year-old, 2-year-old games. Like, you know, I really feel like Ubisoft is one of those companies that really tries, at least for Nintendo. You know, I thought Zombie U was a unique experience. Plus, they've had time now to develop a game for this instead of, you know, the 9 months it took them to develop Zombie U. Yeah. And, you know, I really feel like they've had the time to work out the kinks of the system if they're really going to try to push something on it. So, I don't know. I'm excited to see what Ubisoft tries. And I really think Assassin's Creed might be popping up on Switch at some point.
Or they could do, and I don't think this would be smart, but they could do what they did a couple years back when they had Unity and Rogue release at the same time. You had Rogue on the last gen and Unity on the new. And Rogue was actually a pretty great game. It just didn't have the eye-popping Unity visuals. But I'd love to play some sort of Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, some kind of big Ubisoft open world game. I love their games. So one of their open world games, one of those franchises would be great on this system.
I could see them even releasing like the Ezio collection or like that big America's collection that they released right after PS4 and Xbox One launched on 360 and PS3. They launched, it was Assassin's Creed 3, 4, and then the Vita one, an updated version of the Vita one.
Oh, okay. I never played that one. That's the only one I haven't played, I guess. Yeah.
I'm gonna hijack. I'm gonna hijack this conversation and go into my topic.
What is this, like 10 minutes? That sounds about right.
Yeah. This is actually kind of appropriate. I remember a while back in the Fathers of the Grind group, I actually made a very half-assed attempt at kind of trolling Tim. He was asking about the Binding of Isaac. And I said, well, you know, I know that's been available for really cheap on other systems. And then you kind of said, well, but I have a Switch and I don't have anything to play on it other than Zelda. What if Nintendo sort of took a different tact rather than bringing the AAA stuff that you guys are talking about? What if they brought, you know, the interesting indie things? They just leaned indie.
Yeah.
And, you know, you still get your Marios, your Zeldas, your Metroids, your Pikmins,
I mean, they kind of are.
For those weirdos who really like it, we can give you Kirby. You know, the strategy people love the Fire Emblem. You got
because when Kirby comes, your system's going out. Like you saw that direct that happened last week. There's 4 Kirby games coming to 3DS.
I didn't see the direct. Oh, I'm not even gonna try and lie to you. But but what if instead of, you know, your Marios, instead of your Marios, your Metroids, your Zeldas, alongside, you know, Ubisoft's big properties, or a Bethesda, or a Persona, or a Dark Souls, or a Skyrim, or something like that? What if you get Stardew, like they lean into games like Stardew Valley, or Undertale, or Binding of Isaac, Super Meat Boy, more games like Shovel Knight.
Well,
and all of a sudden you're looking at because like I really believe Nintendo has an opportunity here. Nintendo has an opportunity to say, hey, PlayStation Vita, you're obsolete.
Yeah, well, they kind of are, right? Because that Nindies thing that happened a couple weeks ago, they're getting SteamWorld Dig 2 first. They're getting multiplayer on Stardew Valley first. They're getting all the future Shovel Knight DLC first. Like Spectre Knight is still not available on other platforms, I think. And then the King Knight DLC is going to be first on Switch.
Well, but that's a different thing because if you remember, they kickstarted Shovel Knight for the Wii U.
Yeah, and the 3DS, right? Both of those.
No, they kickstarted it for the Wii U. Everything like Xbox, PS3, I guess PS4 too. All of those were stretch goals. Like they wanted that to be on a Nintendo console.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that type of agreement does not really surprise me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, to answer your question in short, yeah, that'd be great. I mean, as long as Nintendo keeps pumping out their first party stuff, honestly, if they consolidate their development from 3DS and Wii U into one big push for one system, and then they focus on a bunch of, mostly indies with the occasional AAA style game, I would be quite happy with that. I really would. Now, does that mean I don't want AAA games? Absolutely not. I'd love for Ubisoft to take a stab at it, or even Rockstar to give us some kind of, maybe lower res or something version of Red Dead 2. Of course, I would love that. I just don't expect it. So I am expecting what you're saying, and I'm pretty happy with it. But I would be ecstatic if they can go beyond just the indie third parties and get some bigger fish. But no, I'm not opposed to that. I love the indie games that they've put out there so far, and I'm looking forward to more. So
what if someone like Rockstar went out of their way and they were like, look, Red Dead 2 is not going to fit on Switch, but we can give you a deluxe edition of Red Dead 1 on Switch. We can give you
Rockstar table tennis.
Yeah, like I'm serious. Like, what if they went like, hey, remember how nostalgic you are for GTA 3? Vice City and San Andreas, we can give you a collection of that on Switch.
Do you think they could? Do you think GTA 5 would run on Switch? Because it's last gen.
Theoretically, I think it probably could, just based off, it ran fine on 360. Yeah, you had to install like two or three discs onto your hard drive for that, but.
I mean, the rumors are saying that the Switch is more powerful than last gen systems. Maybe not by much, but it's supposed to be. So I don't see why it wouldn't be able to run it.
I think the one sticky point there would probably be GTA Online, though.
Yeah,
I
think
that's super robust. I don't put it. I don't want to throw something that robust of an online component at Nintendo. I think it might break out.
Well, then maybe just the standard game, minus the
exactly.
We'll find that stuff out this fall, right? With Splatoon, and I guess their first real test is next week with Mario Kart, right? How their online holds up, and I think that's the reason why games like Overwatch and even Rocket League or something aren't coming to Switch yet, is because it's not because of that the games won't run on Switch. It's because of the online infrastructure that Nintendo has failed to provide them.
Yeah.
Dude, Rocket League on the Switch, that'd be a dream come true. I'd be
Tim would be in heaven. Tim would be, you would be like, I could just, Tim could die.
Dude, whenever I play Rocket League, so I'm laying there on the couch, whether it's Xbox or PS4, I have it on both of those, and depending on what mood I'm in, I'll play at one or the other. And whenever I start playing it, my wife moves to the other couch or to the recliner because I get so like twitchy, I start like jerking as I'm trying to like make the turns or make the jumps. That's the one game that makes my whole body move as I'm trying to hit that last second shot. She loves it.
Rocket League makes your body move.
Yeah, so imagine with a Switch, man, I'd be all over the place.
Yeah. And I just wonder if companies are going to go that route, though, and put maybe their older stuff on there as like a $40 cart and say, our new stuff can't run on Switch. We're sorry, but here's, a GTA collection. Here's Bully. Here's Red Dead 1. Here's...
make it like the ultimate legacy platform.
I don't know, even something like pretty much. You
know what? I'm with you on this. If that were to happen, that'd be freaking cool.
A BioShock collection, a Batman Arkham collection, The Mass Effect trilogy. Like,
I mean, I've never fully played any Metal Gear Solid game. If that were able to be played on Switch, I understand licensing and whatnot, but if I could play Metal Gear Solid 1 on Switch, I'd play it.
I mean, I feel like, Metal Gear 5 was on 360 and PS3, right? How did that run on those systems?
Slow down. I'm gonna stop you right there.
It's just a thing. I don't know how that game runs. I haven't played it. But there was that big rumor for a long time that Twin Snakes was going to get it an HD remaster for Switch.
That'd be amazing.
That rumor has been floating around, and if that was successful, what would stop them from putting the HD collection of 2, 3, and Peace Walker on there? Especially since Nintendo seems to have some sort of relationship with Konami with Bomberman, right? I mean, Bomberman still is selling extremely well on the Switch.
Metal Gear debuted on their console.
Right. So
still the best Metal Gear game.
Dude, I think whenever anyone looks at Zelda and they see the scope that game has and the smoothness in which that it runs. Yes, sure, on TV mode, it needed a patch to kind of smooth a few things out. But I'll tell you, that game is gorgeous. And yeah, a lot of it has to do with art style. Nintendo gets the best out of their systems. I get that. But this is right out of the gate. This is what they're getting. Just imagine what Nintendo will get out of it in the future. I have high hopes that other developers will be able to follow suit. And I keep reading articles. I don't know how accurate they are, but I keep reading articles about developers saying, wow, this is light years ahead in terms of development ease compared to the Wii U. Like, they're trying to make it easy for developers. I think if there's going to be a time that Nintendo surprises us with third party, this is going to be it. Zelda set the bar really high. I'm not saying that every game will meet that, but if you play that game, it wouldn't surprise me if Ubisoft could make an Assassin's Creed game work on there. Maybe not at the 4K, obviously, resolution that the new systems will have it, but why not a lower resolution? So it looks kind of like last gen, but it runs on the Switch. Like, I wonder if Syndicate could run on there. And Syndicate was a beautiful game. So it'd be Assassin's Creed Syndicate, by the way, not the game.
No, I know what you're talking. Yeah. Thank you for clarifying, because there are some people. Then again, if you want to bring Syndicate back and bring it to Switch, I might go out tomorrow and buy one.
I want to clarify. I wasn't saying Syndicate was a beautiful game. Assassin's Creed Syndicate was a beautiful game. Right.
But then again, Syndicate was pretty awesome. Pretty awesome.
And like, you look at Zelda, and that was it was developed for Wii U, and so like if the Switch is more powerful than and Zelda was able to run on an underpowered piece of hardware, like that also gives me hope that some of these games will end up coming. So I don't know. I love this machine. I do want to have this discussion a year from now again to see what games have come to the system, but it's a cool machine. I love it.
It is. I'm excited for E3, man.
Yeah, and it makes me really sad because the next Nintendo game I really want to get into is Fire Emblem. It's coming to 3DS.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, man, I really wish they would have had a port of that game to Switch, because I love my 3DS, but that screen is just like,
It feels weird playing it after being on the Switch for so long, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. My nephews were over the other day, and I was teaching them how to play Mario, New Super Mario Brothers, and man, it's rough.
Yeah,
it is.
And my son wanted to try Shovel Knight, so I let him borrow my the new 3DS that I have, and I handed it to him, and I was helping him with the boss, and I was like, this doesn't look or play as well. Like, I don't know why. I just was used to the Switch version of it, and it's not that different. Just a smaller screen, resolution's not as high, but yeah, I kind of want everything that's coming out for 3DS this year, and there are some solid titles coming this year. I kind of want all those on the Switch.
I know. I would love Ever Oasis to be on Switch too.
An RPG Maker. I want an RPG Maker on the Switch.
Oh man.
Yep.
Oh, I wonder how much longer the 3DS is going to last after this summer, though.
I think it was Rory Wood, a friend of ours from some various communities on Facebook.
Yeah, I know Rory. Rory's cool.
He's made some really good points about how, like, every system, especially successful ones, usually have a tapering off period, and he's predicting that this year is where the 3DS is kind of getting their swan song games, things like Mario Sports and RPG Maker, and then the last Fire Emblem. And then it's just going to kind of ride off into the sunset. And then 2018 is going to be where Switch totally takes over. And I don't think he's wrong on that. I just, as someone who is completely in love with my Switch, I just want all those games on the Switch. I'm just selfish, you know? That's where I want them.
Now, just to ask the question, and I know Tim, you are a man of thought, whereas Corey's kind of drinking some Kool-Aid. I'll be real. I love you, Corey, but it's true. That's
not true.
No, that's totally true. But now, is this a situation where you both are in the oh my goodness. Are you in the situation where it's your new shiny thing?
I mean, part of it's that, right? I mean, I can go out and say, like, yeah, this is my new toy. I want to play with it. I don't want to go back to my old things. But at the same time, I was playing Gears of War 4 on Xbox the other day, and then I wanted to go.
Why?
Because I like it.
It's a good game. That's why.
I'm messing with you.
And but then my wife came home, and I wanted to go spend time with her, but I was in the middle of a multiplayer match, so I couldn't just get up, pick up my Xbox, and take it into the living room and keep playing, you know. And that's where the Switch is so nice to have. Is like, yeah, I play Zelda on my TV, but when she comes home, I can go sit on the couch next to her and keep playing. Like it's more of a convenience thing than anything. And it's like, yeah, I guess I can stop playing Gears now, but what if I wanted to keep going? Like, what if I wanted to keep playing through campaign in Halo, or what if I wanted to keep grinding in Destiny, or what if I was loot chasing in Diablo? Like, these are all things that you know, the convenience of the Switch could fix theoretically if one of these other consoles ended up making something like it.
Yeah, I think the convenience is a huge factor. I also I've learned to really enjoy the controllers. I love the way the Joy-Cons feel, when it's in handheld mode. The layout, I got used to it really quickly. At first, it was kind of weird. And then I got really used to it, and I actually start to prefer it. I also like it. They're fine when they're on the grip. I think they're fine. But then I just got a Pro controller. So last week, I swung through Target, had to pick something up at random on the way home, and I thought, as I always do, let me just swing through the video game section. You know,
good man, Tim. Good man.
As a warm-blooded American male tends to do, had to swing through the electronics section, and they had 3 Pro controllers, and one of them was like an open box one for $15 off. So I got really lucky because I couldn't find a Pro controller for the life of me. So all that to say, I was really excited to get that. I got that the same day that I got Lego City Undercover, and that controller is awesome. I love that Pro controller. And
how many times have you pressed B when it says press A?
Several, yes, because the Xbox has ruined me for that. But so I've done that several times. But I love the feel of that controller. It just works really well. The buttons feel great. The D-pad, I love using that for Shovel Knight because the D-pad works really, really well for games like Shovel Knight. So to kind of answer Matt's question, it's not so much that it's just a new shiny thing. That's probably part of it. I'm that way with all my new stuff. I'm like, ooh, I just want to use that thing. Sure. But it's also because the controls, and I love the sharpness of the visuals on the handheld version of the screen. I remember when I first got the Vita, I thought, ooh, this is really pretty. And then it quickly kind of hit the shelf because most of the games I was playing on it, I already had on PS4 or fill in the blank. Right. And but this one is one of those ones where I'm like, look at all these new experiences I have right out of the gate. It's not that many. It just feels like a lot. There's something about it that's different. It's probably helped quite a bit by one of the greatest games I've ever played in Zelda. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like, even then, like, we could have had that same Zelda experience on the Wii U. It's like, and that's the other thing too, right? Is that's what makes this so hard. Is like, yeah, we could have been playing on the gamepad on our Wii. It's just, I don't know. It's probably a mixture. Both is like, yeah, the Switch is new and shiny, but it also, like, man, it's just a cool device. You know?
Well, one last thing for me is that I never had a Wii U. So I kept up with the DS line and the 3DS line, but I never bought a Wii U. There was something about the pricing of it that just never got close enough to me wanting to pull the trigger. So I do remember when I finally had some money to spend, I ended up getting the Xbox One instead because I wanted to play Ori, I wanted to play the Gears games, I wanted to play at the time Rise of the Tomb Raider, which was an exclusive for a little while there. So I just never pulled the trigger on the Wii U. So I finally have a Nintendo console again for the first time since, I guess since a Wii. So it's not that long. It just felt like a long time.
The Wii feels like
That's-
forever ago.
It does, and so I love it. Like I love Nintendo. I always have and I always will. And having their new system has me so excited to be back in Nintendo's camp. In addition to the other, I love Sony and Microsoft too. I really do. But it just kind of brings a wave of nostalgia as well as just give me more of this Nintendo goodness. So,
and that's another thing too. Is like, think of all the people who have bought Switches already that never owned a Wii U. Like, haven't owned something since GameCube or Wii. Besides the handhelds, like, look at all the Wii U games they've missed. Another thing I want from them is to have a separate, like, Wii U line for Switch, like the games that you miss from Wii U. They market it that way. Like, look, we understand the Wii U was not the greatest selling system. Here are the games you missed, like Bayonetta 2, Pikmin
Mario
3,
Maker,
Super Mario Maker, Super Mario 3D World.
I want Toad's Treasure Tracker, man.
Yeah,
right?
Toad's Treasure
Thank
Tracker.
you, Tim. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I've always wanted to play that game.
Xenoblade Chronicles X. Yeah, I know we're getting Xenoblade 2, but that's a good holdover. I think
Yeah, I
Xenoblade
want
Chronicles
Xenoblade.
X.
Yeah, man.
So, like, I feel like they could do a whole line of
Pikmin
Wii U and 3DS up-res ports of, like, A Link Between Worlds. I would love to play an HD version of that and stuff like that. So I just think this device has kind of changed my excitement for gaming and put it in a new direction, you know? And I know I'm a huge Nintendo fan, and Matt lets me know that every day of my life.
Well, I'm this.
But-
See, and I don't want you to think that I don't like Nintendo, because I do. Like, I just like fucking with you. That's all.
I know you do. I know.
Like,
Friends do.
yeah.
Ah, man. The other day I was thinking, man, like, back to Rise of the Tomb Raider, they made Xbox 360 versions of those games. And, like, if the new versions can't run on Switch, but could the 360 version possibly run on it? Because, like, oh, geez. Todd has just invaded, and
He
he's
goes,
wearing
oh, jeez.
this striped
Yes.
headband.
Praise the sun.
Praise the something.
Praise the headband.
This is Physical Fit Todd.
That's awesome.
You fit, Todd?
Yes, we fit trainer. I don't know.
What retailer is this, Todd? Exclusive to?
Looks like he's,
I'm exclusive
fresh off the set of an OK Go music video right now.
That's right. I'm going to do everything in sync to music with treadmills and
Oh,
paints
it's
and-
amazing.
Yes.
Okay. Well, to be polite to everybody, Todd, Tim Nestor, Todd.
Tim, how are you, buddy?
It's good to see you, man.
Yes, Tim, fathers of the grind.
That's right.
He's a daddy grinder.
The
Derek
grinder.
texted me he's not going to make it. He's got too many crazy kid things happening tonight. He won't be available for a while, so it's just me.
That's all right.
That's all right. We got Todd. Todd subbed in. I'm concerned about this headband.
I'm not. I love
Embrace
it.
it.
I love it.
It's
That, Todd,
distracting.
every time you are on a video show, you should wear that headband.
Embrace
that
it.
specific one. You
When I
look
have
great.
no hair,
Tim.
I have to accessorize. I'm like a newborn baby.
Oh, man. Well,
Okay, curious
Just missed
case
our
of
Giants.
Benjamin Button. Now here we go.
You just missed our giant Switch discussion.
Yeah. By the
Todd,
way,
what
since Derek is not here, I want to represent him just real quick and say, all indie games are trash, garbage, trash.
Okay,
and
yeah, no,
you guys
go.
are crazy. Yeah,
Okay, quote. Okay, we're
Yeah.
quota met. We could be normal now.
yeah. Just wanted to get that out there. He would want me to say that, and so I want to speak on his behalf.
Well,
Maybe
you
we
know,
should-
he is the boss, right, Tim?
He is the boss, no
Should
doubt
this
about it.
episode be all about how we defined an indie game?
No,
No.
don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Does
No.
it move the soul and the power?
Don't unravel the red tape, Todd.
do
It's
it.
just not worth it.
Don't do it.
Todd, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? Finished Breath of the Wild. Holy Jesus. I finished it. Whew.
I
Oh
feel
my
like
goodness.
that deserves
me too.
to.
That's why you're wearing the headband, isn't it?
That's right. Right. And I played like a minute of Blaster Master Zero.
I still haven't purchased that one yet. Is
It's
it
only $10
worth?
bucks. It's
Is it
fun.
worth the $10? Okay.
Oh yeah, it's very fun. And today I'm going to be purchasing Wonder Boy.
Oh, is that out today?
It's out today. $20 or $20? Yeah.
That's a
Oh,
great
I'm
song by the Kinks.
I'm getting that one. That one looks great.
Awesome song by Tenacious D as well.
Word.
Word. Music, my specialty.
Incubus.
Yeah.
Trademark Matthew Keel.
I've actually been listening to more Incubus lately, Tim. So
Yeah. Attaboy.
yeah.
Attaboy. Listen, it's not like Nickelback, okay? No need to laugh next time, all right?
Well, like part of me, like when I was going to do like a trolley laugh, but then like I saw Derek going back. I'm like, we're both doing this, aren't we?
You know what? Because Derek is a legit Creed fan still, so I don't want to hear what he has to say.
True. I mean, you know,
Credibility represents.
credibility gone.
I can't pretend like I didn't love Creed, man. I saw Creed in concert with Three Doors Down. I was a fan for a while there, okay? But that faded.
That's a Gulf Coast rock connection right there.
I think when Creed showed up, like because I was super into Pearl Jam at the time, a bunch of friends of mine said, "Oh, well, you really love Pearl Jam. This band sounds exactly like Pearl Jam."
Oh my god!
Then I listened to him. I'm like, "What band are you hearing?"
No,
it's his brother Kenny Vetter.
And they're like, but he does the Eddie Vedder thing. I go, because he tries to make his voice sound deeper. Is that your metric here? They're like, well, yeah, that's what you. No, I don't want that. I want like some lyrics that come from a place of honesty. This kind of sounds like garbage.
I'll be honest with you, Matt.
Not the band Garbage, who were big at the time.
Pearl Jam was
actual trash.
They were more artistic. They had much better writing, but dude, they were depressing. Okay, at least Creed was like, embrace your dreams and you will soar. Like, all right, Scott Stapp, I'll do that.
By the time Creed came out, yes, Pearl Jam were kind of doing the depressing thing.
They were depressing. Yeah.
However, I was still riding the wave of Vitalogy, and I would not let go because that album is still so good.
Matt, if you just only open your heart with arms wide open.
Yes. It will take you higher.
Corey, you got to sing now.
I'll save it for later.
He's gonna start busting into Walk the Moon. Shut up and dance with me.
We'll get off of music so Corey doesn't get up and walk out of the room.
I was actually about to because I have to pee really bad.
That's a lot.
And then I knew Matt was going to make fun
Well,
of me.
here, Corey, you go ahead and pee. Anyone else hear the new Kendrick Lamar album? It's really good.
No.
Oh wait, you guys don't like hip hop. I'm sorry.
I do like hip hop.
I like hip hop.
I like hip hop. I like more of the, like I said, I like I guess upbeat hip hop.
Yeah, I'm with
Kendrick
you.
Lamar's pretty upbeat.
Yeah, yes. I mean, this is gonna sound so lame, but I loved the duet he did with Imagine Dragons. I thought that was
Yeah, that wasn't bad.
I like mashups like that too. I like mashups like that. Yeah.
Dude, my favorite old school mashup was back when Jay-Z and Linkin Park used to team up on stuff. That was my favorite. Matt loves it.
I go back to what Anthrax and Public Enemy.
God damn it, not Anthrax and Public Enemy. God damn it.
Run DMC and Aerosmith. Are we gonna go there?
I mean, that one's okay. I'll be all right with that. But Anthrax Anthrax,
man.
because here's the thing, Anthrax kind of ruined a really good Public Enemy song in my opinion.
It's one of those gimmick things. But I will say there is a comic book we're going to be talking about on the podcast called The Hip Hop. It's a comic all about the history of hip hop.
I remember. Here's a funny story on this note. Like there were heroes. There were comics based on like hip hop legends. There was one of Grandmaster Flash, one of who am I thinking of? Probably the Sugar Hill Gang. Anyway, and the only reason I'm thinking about this now because you brought that up, and I remember actually walking into a comic store and being right next to Brian Posehn. If you know who that is.
Yes.
And I'm like, and I looked at him. He's like, yeah, you recognize me. And I'm like, I like the fact that you
recognize that dude.
Well, and I said, I like the fact that you're leaning into this. And he's like, yeah, but where do you recognize me from? And I sat there, what seemed like an eternity. I'm like, Mr. Show.
Oh.
He's like, are you that old? And I said, yes. I watched it when I was a teenager and still getting stoned and laughed my ass off.
First time I saw him was in, he was a guest in an episode of Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yep.
Oh, he was a semi-regular on Just Shoot Me. He was like David Spade's.
Oh,
yeah, he was on the Sarah Silverman show too.
Yeah.
And he actually does a really cool gaming podcast, believe it or not.
Yep, and he wrote a comic book about Santa Claus.
He does Nerd Poker. It's about D&D. Yeah. It's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Hey, wasn't he in Funny People where he plays the guy whose joke gets stolen or something like that?
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Corey, I'm not using my I usually have my Snowball, but that thing has been driving me nuts. It picks up everything. So when I record, it picks up my son, and yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, now you look like a telemarketer. It's all good.
I know.
Yeah, no, that's
Would
fine.
you like fries with that, sir?
Is that what telemarketers were? I can just see
Ding, fries are done.
with his
Thank you for calling Singular Customer Service. You are on a recorded line for training purposes. This is Todd. How may I help you?
Great, now I'm hungry.
Right?
Oh my gosh, Sana made the best food. Oh, so good.
Dude, why are you doing this?
It was a Santa Fe salad with some amazing chicken. Oh, so good.
What's Santa Fe salad?
It had like
salsa, right?
like Mexican style cheese and like black
Mexican style cheese. Okay.
Well, like like the 4-cheese blend and like
salsa,
corn and black beans and
Tortilla strips.
oh,
sound less white.
Yes. Tortilla.
white.
Todd did it. Todd did it. Leave it to Minnesota to really deliver for us.
It's Minnesota, but also the deep South where they don't know any Spanish yet. They're surrounded by Spanish people, speaking people. Yeah. But Matt, the book is called Hip Hop Family Tree. Check it out.
I will actually. Now that you've brought it up,
I put the link in.
Next time I come on, if I'm ever invited again to come on your podcast, that's all I'm going to talk about.
You gotta up your superhero game, my friend.
That's okay.
Wow.
Because we rarely talk about music and we rarely talk about video games, so you gotta bring it down. And Corey has a
Well, what if I talk about the Wu-Tang Clan? They're basically superheroes.
Basically superheroes, yeah, like the Wu-Tang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Wu Massacre, starring Raekwon, Method Man, and Ghostface, had a comic book cover. So there's that.
And they made the video game. What was that? Based off the Thrill.
Shaolin style.
That's right.
That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite PS1 games. I unironically love that game.
What was the name of the game that it was based off of? Kill.
Who cares?
Something?
It's Wu-Tang Shaolin style. That's all you need to know.
Oh boy.
Inspector Deck had his little fingers. Oh, it was awesome.
Okay, gents. My wife, I can't stay on too long.
Okay.
Taekwondo, so she'll be back.
Okay. Well, since you were pressed for time, what's your topic, Todd?
Oh, my topic is.
We went really long on mine. Just letting you know.
My topic is. What is a genre? Maybe, I don't know, if we already done this, what's a genre that just needs to go away?
The genre needs to go.
Or at least get reinvented. If it's going to stick around.
That's a tough one. That's a really tough one.
I was going to say the Zelda genre, but that's kind of already been reinvented.
That's been reinvented. Yeah, it just happened. Gosh. I don't know. Because it's the genres that come to mind are ones that I don't really play that much, so it's kind of unfair for me to say because maybe they've been evolving and I haven't tracked them. So, for example, the first one that comes to mind is fighting games. I'm not into fighting games. I'm not a big fan. Not since Street Fighter 2 Turbo have I invested time into a fighting game.
Yeah.
But they have probably evolved quite a bit over the years. But when I've tried to jump back into things like Marvel vs. Capcom or Street Fighter 5, even Mortal Kombat X, I was like, yeah, this feels like more of the same. And no thanks. And I jumped back out. Now, I'm probably missing something, but there's something about the fighting genre that continues to evade my interest.
See, I'm the same way. Like I loved fighting games back in the day, and I would love to still be good at them. I'm just not.
Yeah, Street Fighter 2 Turbo though was awesome. That's why I'm excited for the Ultra reversion on the Switch. I'm excited for that.
Well, you got first-person Hadouken mode.
Oh, yeah, that I don't care about, but yeah.
That's how they changed up.
It'd be great if you could like tilt the gamepad and then like that aims your Hadouken.
No, man, you can swap from like 16:9 HD graphics back to the old school CRT size pixelated graphics. That's something, you know. I don't know.
No, Smash Brothers not your thing.
No, not really. I mean, it's fun with friends.
I don't even really
kind of button mashing, but I was never good at it, so it was like, all right, this is kind of fun, but let's go back to something else.
The only game I could ever be good at, blackout drunk, was Smash Brothers.
I don't even really consider Smash Brothers like a quote real fighting game though.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, like I don't know. I just feel like there's more to it than fighting, and I don't know. It just doesn't feel like a real fighting game to me. To me, it's like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat are like the fighting games, and then
Smash is like a beat 'em up, kind of like a Power Stone, where you're beating somebody up and get them off the stage. But and I know there's techniques for it. But,
you know why it's a legit fighting game?
Yeah.
You know why it's a legit fighting game? Because it is allowed at Evo. That's why it's a legit.
Oh, that's
fighting game.
Wow, that's the requirement. Interesting. I will say, I'm going to contradict myself for a second. I do think that games like For Honor are taking the fighting genre to a new level, because I don't know if you guys played For Honor, but they did some really interesting one-on-one fighting game type of things that it is not in a side-scrolling fighting game environment. It's really unique. It's a third-person action game, but it really is a fighting game with the combos and how meticulous and you have to be. I was not good at it, but I certainly appreciate. I played the beta for the weekend, and I really appreciated what they were doing there. So I kind of contradict myself there. I like what they did. I just feel like there should be more. They need to take another step, I guess, to bring in more people, because I feel like if you get owned in a fighting game, at least for me, it's super easy to get really discouraged and quickly lose interest. And so, yeah.
Amen. Corey.
Man, I don't know. I think they need to do something interesting with JRPGs, and I think Persona 5 seems to be doing something different within the realms of the JRPG genre, but like I feel like I don't know what it is. It just feels a little samey for like 25 years ish.
I mean, it depends on what you're are you being rigid about the rules of JRPGs? Because like Persona 4 really sort of reinvented even that turn-based stuff. I mean, I haven't played enough of Persona 5 yet to really comment, but
I mean, I guess, but like I don't know. Even like I don't know.
You can also throw the Souls series. They've kind of reinvented JRPGs.
I consider those more action RPGs though. And like I guess that's the evolution of the JRPG, is like moving more into an action-based thing, like Dark Souls and stuff. I don't know. I just feel like the last JRPG I really got into was Bravely Default on the 3DS, and it was like still kind of what I played on PS2 and PS1, and I don't know. It just feels too samey, and it's really hard for me to get back into that genre, because I feel like I've done it before, and like I understand that that's the point of a JRPG, is the repetition and the grinding and stuff like that, and I get it, but like it just feels like every JRPG I see now is still the same. It's still the same.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think about Final Fantasy 15? Because I feel like they did everything differently for a JRPG. Or would you not consider that a JRPG?
I don't consider that a JRPG. I consider it more an action RPG now. Like I feel like they went that direction. It feels more like what Kingdom Hearts did when it first came out, that style of play.
So you're talking more about turn-based RPGs need to do something different, right?
Okay. Yeah, I guess JRPG.
Because I mean, Final Fantasy 15 is super Japanese, but I see what you're saying.
Yeah, and so is the Souls series. Like it's super Japanese as well.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying. That turn-based RPG, I like it when they go outside. They think outside the box as well, and they do something a little bit unique, a little bit different. Yeah, so I'm with you. There was a series back on PS2, and I'm blanking out what it's called. I want to say it's Shadow Hearts or something like that.
Okay.
And they
had the turning wheel, right? The spinning wheel.
Yeah. They did some really cool things with that. So things like that, I think, even though it's little, it's still turn-based. But when you do something unique with a battle system like that, it can really make the game feel totally different. So,
yeah.
Did you see the game that's coming to Switch? It's called Battle Chasers Night War.
Yeah, it's by the guys who did Darksiders.
That one looks cool.
Yeah. what I like about that, it takes the turn-based mechanics, but it's a Western studio doing it. And
Nice.
I think with the JRPG element, a lot of it, the tropes of the Japanese, culture, the weird dialogue that's sometimes way too straight on the nose. It's like the comic book thought bubbles of, this is what I'm thinking, and it's exactly what they say. So I kind of like that perspective of taking Western teams, not making a Western RPG where it's like more open-based and things like that. I like the fact that it's taking the turn-based mechanics but adding a Western flair. That's kind of nice. To me, it kind of makes it more open to me, because when you talk about Persona at 5 and people tells me, the heart of that game is the relationships. And when I hear that, I'm like, that sounds like I'm going to read a lot of text and spend a lot of time just absorbing that. And I don't know if the dialogue and the story are going to be that good to me, that entrancing to me, unless I like JRPG tropes. When I heard that game is soaked with tropes, but it does them to a level. Whereas to me, I don't enjoy that style of dialogue. I don't style that type of storytelling, because to me it's too spot on the nose, and it's more part of Japanese culture. Which, I mean, I watched anime and I grin and bear it through. I grin and bear anime storytelling because I like what's on screen. But to me, it gets in its way because it's really embracing those tropes versus getting beyond them. But that's just me.
That makes you appreciate the ones that do it really well, then, because you're right. A lot of them fall in that category, but some of them do it really, really well.
That's hard for me to because there's so many of them. And
as someone who is strictly a fan of the art of anime, and someone who takes writing in general pretty seriously, I think the Persona games do writing better than most video games. I mean, I don't know if my opinion is anything to go on, but like Persona 4 is one of the best written stories in video game history for me. And that's because it gets those interpersonal dialogue exchanges correct, rather than just placing two people and saying the right things for enough of the population that plays those games to go, oh, they're having something happen right now. Like you could talk about Last of Us and how it nails emotional beats.
Yeah.
That's fine. But the Persona series, despite being super Japanese in terms of their gameplay, the characters individually are well written enough that you care.
Yeah.
So I would say here's a question then. Is it because the localization is really, really, really well done, and it's basically designed for the audience of the North American populace? Because I've seen that with localizations can be just horrible, where it's like basically they're just directly writing down. It's almost like a translation versus a localization where it kind of caters to different sensibilities.
Yeah, some
Todd,
of them they just copy and paste.
you and I are cut from
Google.
the same cloth, except I think I'm dumber, whiter, and more Midwestern, and I love Persona 4.
Okay.
So
I got Golden, but I sold my Vita and never got into it because I just never did. But
yeah, and like
it looks cool. It looks like it bleeds style. So
it does.
I'm willing to give it a try. I just wish
And
it was on my Switch.
And we've stomped on Tim twice. Tim, say your piece.
Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say. I think a game like Chrono Trigger is a great example of when a JRPG did it right in terms of storytelling and characters. That's why it's timeless. That's why people still love it. That's why I can think of some people that never played it. They missed it originally, and they've gone back to it in the last couple of years, and they're like, "Wow, this game is stellar. How did I miss this game?" And it still holds up. It's just beautiful writing. Like Todd said, the localization I think is quite good for that one, and the art still has a Japanese flair to it, but it's not in your face anime. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I like some in your face. Like this is clearly anime style, but Chrono Trigger is not quite that. But it's really, really charming and it holds up. So there's not that many games that can do that. Like people fondly remember games like Legend of Dragoon. Go back and play that game and tell me that it's fantastic, because it's not.
Amen, brother.
Yeah. So I just want to throw in Chrono Trigger as an example of when JRPGs do it right, and when the writing is good and the characters are intriguing. Like I still love the character. I don't know if you guys have played Chrono Trigger, but the character of Frog and what's his name? I want to say Magus or Magus, however you say his name. The villain for most of the game, their story arcs are incredible. and same with Robo. It's all just really, really good. So I won't go too deep into it, but yeah.
I've played Chrono Cross. I've not played Chrono Trigger. Call it a sin.
Also a good.
But however, Tim, Suikoden.
Yeah, man. That is much more anime in style, and they nail it in the story. If you actually pay attention to the dialogue, the localization was not amazing. There's plenty of times where it's like, yeah, that's not correct, but it's overall overall it's good enough, and the story is so great. And so if you're like me, and it sounds like you guys too, you kind of push through some of those things. You're like, yeah, that wasn't translated quite right, but you push through it. You don't get stuck on it. It's still quite enjoyable for sure, and that's why Suikoden 2 is probably my favorite of all time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Nice.
Matthew, what's yours, buddy?
I already had a topic. Oh wait, my genre. The genre I always go to is always being readdressed, and that's roguelikes. And I know that the next great roguelike is probably being developed right now.
SteamWorld Dig 2.
Is that a roguelike though?
I don't know,
it's
probably
really
not. I'm just excited about
Feels
it.
like more. That feels like more like Metroid.
It's not a roguelike. I'm just excited about it.
But see, like Corey with his Zelda comment, like I always thought the point and click adventure game needed to be redressed, and I think games like Gone Home and the people who did What Remains of Edith Finch. What was the game they did before that?
Talking about Vanishing of Ethan Carter?
Unfinished Swan?
No, the Unfinished Swan, and thank you. Probably Tacoma when it actually comes out. Ether 1.
Firewatch.
I haven't Firewatch
was
yet,
great, man.
and I haven't played Ethan Carter yet. That's on my list. That's on my list.
Yeah, what's
Like,
the other one where the people vanished?
Everybody's Gone to the Rapture.
That's
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
And I think those games pick up in that space in a very interesting way. Now, it hasn't gotten to the point where the puzzles are as obscure and archaic and just out and out hidden as Grim Fandango was back in its day. But I think that, you know, there's cool things to be done in that space. And I look forward to the continued development. Like, I haven't played Soma yet, but I'm excited to.
That's why I think Space Quest was ahead of its time with its humor and stuff, as it really dove into certain things. I thought Space Quest was incredibly funny.
Win.
So funny.
Oh my goodness. I put so much time in the Quest series.
Yeah, man.
Oh my goodness.
King's Quest, Space Quest. I even tried a little bit of Police Quest. I had bought there was some kind of like compilation thing that I bought years ago. It was on.
Oh, I was thinking of Space Ace. My bad.
It was on CD-ROM, and so because I used to play them all, you know, like old MS-DOS type stuff. But then I finally bought this compilation CD-ROM and had a ton of the Quest games, even some I'd never heard of before. But yeah, I loved that stuff. I really did.
Yeah, because Telltale kind of has taken that route of the.
But it's still so samey.
Yeah,
I thought Telltale took it to the next level.
Like, I'm sorry, Clementine will remember that is not necessarily the reinvention of that genre.
Yeah.
My silence is either I'm correct or I'm wrong. And instead of actually just taking a position, I will just say, "Hey, Tim, you got a topic?"
The last adventure game that I'll mention that I think took it to the next level was Life is Strange. I thought that was a phenomenal game. And they introduced some really cool actual gameplay elements into an adventure game. Not a lot, but enough with the time travel powers and stuff that I felt like I was playing a game, but it was still an adventure game. So anyway, I loved that game.
What about the David Cage games? Those are kind of point and click.
Yeah, they are. That's true.
I don't know if QuickTime counts as point and click. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying I don't know.
None of us do, clearly.
No.
I mean, and whatever that guy's on, let him keep doing his thing because it seems to work for people.
In terms of my top, I don't think mine's super in-depth one unless you've got a big story with yours, but I thought it'd be cool if each of us shared one game that you started and expected to like, but you have stopped playing it and you don't see yourself ever going back to it again? Maybe you've talked about this already, but what's a game that you started and you stopped playing, and if you think about it, you know what? You're never going to go back to that one. And that's it's unfortunate, but it's the way it is.
Oh, jeez.
I can start if you guys need to think of one.
Go right
Yeah,
ahead.
my Steam library.
Pull up your library real quick. I've got several. I've got a few that I've stopped that I fully plan to go back to. That's a little different. Games like Neo that I started and it really got its hooks in me, but then, a little game called Horizon came out and Zelda. But I totally plan on playing.
Yeah, that tiny indie game, Zelda.
Yeah, these little games that came out.
It was that was a surprise.
But Neo was super cool and I really enjoyed it. So games like that you plan to go back to, sure. But I'm talking about things that you've played, you thought you'd really enjoy it, but it just didn't get you. For example, my most recent one is Just Cause 3. I fully expected to really enjoy that kind of mindless explosion, open world fun, and I did not have fun with that game. The only thing I enjoyed of that game was the traversal, as you use like your little gliding wing things, and you can kind of use your parachute to launch up in the air. I don't know if you guys have ever played that game.
Your grappling hook, you can use.
The grappling hook, and you launch your parachute. Yeah, and you can glide, and some of the traversal was kind of fun, but I stopped playing it, and I just don't see myself ever going back. And it's unfortunate because I thought the Just Cause games were all pretty fun. This one was fairly good-looking game. It was decent-looking graphics. Not when you zoom in; it looks kind of ugly up close. But from a distance, the island looks really pretty, and it's just not. It was not for me. Once I discovered you can't hide behind any kind of cover. It's a third-person action shooter, and there's no way to take cover. Yeah,
there's no cover in that.
You can't even crouch. You can't. There's no stealth elements to it. They didn't have one element of things that I usually want to have in these games. So I was like, well, I think I'm done. Once I grappled a couple of giant gas tanks together, smashed them together, and blew up everybody, I feel like I got my fill out of what that game was going to be about. So that's mine. That comes to the top of my mind.
I'm going to dovetail right on top of that because Just Cause 3 was one for me where I loved Just Cause 2. I didn't play the first one. I'll be real with you. But the second one captured something. It captured the little boy in a sandbox trying to kill his G.I. Joes in the weirdest ways possible. Just Cause 2 did, and I was hoping Just Cause 3 was more of that, but I think because it had been long enough that I had just kind of, I guess, grown up.
Yeah.
When I had gotten back to that, I was so excited to play it, and while I was installing it on my PS4, I had the greatest moment in Just Cause 3, and it was the only death I had. The cool thing is, while you were downloading that game, you could wander around the world. There were no enemies, no aggression. You could just basically walk around and take a look. So I'm wandering around, I'm just walking, and then all of a sudden I see a dune buggy. Getting in the dune buggy, driving the dune buggy. I'm like, all right, I'm driving to the top of this mountain. I'm going to drive off the mountain because why not? I drive off the mountain, and then you get that prompt for X to parachute out. And I don't remember where I picked up a machine gun, but I had a machine gun on me because why not? And I decided I'm just going to spin around and just fire. And so while I'm floating back to Earth, I see these gas tanks off in the distance. I'm like, oh, I'm going to shoot them. So I shoot. One of them ignites, hits an oil barrel, which explodes, and the gas tank starts shooting directly at me. I'm like, this is probably not going to end well. Gas tank hits me, die instantaneously.
That's beautiful.
And then I have to wait. And then the minute I start up the game and I take over my first base, I'm like, that was not as cool as what just happened without any enemies around.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Just Cause 3 does have some cool stuff, like climbing on the roof of your car. They have some unique things that other open world games have, but honestly, I had more fun playing, in terms of destructive open world, I had more fun playing Red Faction Guerrilla, where you can run around and blow up all the buildings and stuff and use your giant hammer to take things. That was more fun than anything I did in Just Cause 3. So
yeah. And then other games I've started and just won't go back to. I started playing Broken Age in February. I'm not going to finish that game. I actually played through it once, and I was going to do the platinum.
Well, then that counts. That doesn't count as a... Yeah.
That game sucks. I'm sorry. It's just not good.
There was a different one I was going to use that I didn't want to make Matt too mad at me since he was kind enough to invite me on the show. So
No, what are you going to use, Tim?
I was going to say Dark Souls 3.
Oh, okay, that's fun. No, dude, look. It may have my heart. I'm not going to be mad at those who don't like it, because some people just inherently require training wheels. And some people just can't play difficult games or even semi-difficult games.
Right.
And I can't really just say, look, it's not my fault you haven't graduated to the big boy table. So I'm just going to let you just have that. That's totally fine.
Oh my gosh.
Start with
all that being said, all that trolling being said, Tim, still love you, man.
Oh yeah. Sure.
As Matt would say, it's not you, it's me. Or it's not you.
Oh no, it's not me. It's definitely you.
It didn't do it for me, man. I just didn't think it was that fun. That was my problem. It just wasn't that fun. It's too dark and foreboding, and everything was cast in shadows, and I just didn't think the combat was that fun. See, I like
I'm
difficult
gonna be
games.
honest with you. It's called Dark Souls.
It's not called Bright Souls. That's true.
It's not called, hey, let's have a feel-good romp.
That's
Praise
true.
the sun, because why not? No, it's going to be like,
boy.
yeah, you basically, you get into Firelink Shrine, you talk to that guy who's basically the most morose person you could ever come across in any walk of life, saying, yeah, all this is worthless. Good luck.
It's an unfair criticism from me because I barely scratched the surface of that gigantic game. I don't know what all the environments and enemies look like, so that was just me being a jerk. But I do like tough games like Titan Souls and all those kind of, that's like lots of like trial and error type games. It's just for some reason Dark Souls have never clicked with me.
Yeah, and Tim, as much as I had a bit of fun with you, I know from firsthand experience you're not a moron. If you don't like it, you don't like it. That's fine.
It is what it is.
Exactly.
And if anybody knows a moron, it's Matt.
I mean, we could smell our own.
I'm just disappointed when you guys said, just cuz, and you didn't say, why didn't you like it? Just cuz.
Oh, we missed it.
Yeah, come on. That's the easy. That's a
that joke opportunity.
The two parents on the podcast come up with the worst goddamn dad jokes.
Just wait. There's more.
Yeah. Oh, there's always more.
I got one for you. Why does a chicken coop only have 2 doors? Because if it had 4, it'd be a chicken sedan.
Man,
What's up?
Show's over.
Banana and out.
You go. Oh my goodness.
Oh, jeez. Well, I'm going to pick a game now. The Order.
You guys got time for 20 questions?
Oh, The
no?
Order?
The Order? That game was like an hour and a half long. What are you talking about?
That game was super short.
I know, but I thought it was going to be more like PlayStation's Gears of War, and I was really excited. And it was just full of really pretty cutscenes and QuickTime events.
It has a surprisingly cool setup for some cool lore, but yeah, it's not the most intriguing.
I really want them to make a sequel, but totally just go all out and rip off Gears of War.
Oh, the game should have been co-op. It should have been 4.
It has cool characters and a cool concept of alternate history and stuff. Like, it's cool. I like the concept. It's just
and there's a story twist towards the end that's really cool too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I liked the game. I thought it was fun, but yeah, it definitely was not.
It was cumbersome. It was slow. Like Gears is fast and quick from cover to cover, and it's really fun. And The Order felt like playing with someone who just had learned how to walk. Like, he was super cumbersome to use. It was not great. I'm with you.
Yeah, that's a prime example of like a first gen game launching on a console. I mean, it's all shine, not a lot there, but it has promise. So maybe it takes the jump from like a Assassin's Creed 1 to Assassin's Creed.
Still one of the prettiest games out there, though.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, well, do you guys have time for 20 questions?
I do. I've got about 20 minutes, so we could probably do that, right?
Right. All right.
Sure. Great.
Got a game.
20 questions. Totally fine.
Got a game. Ready? Matt, go.
Was this game released initially in the HD era?
Yes.
Todd.
Was this exclusive to the PS3?
No.
Tim.
Let's see here. Was it exclusive to any console?
No.
Damn.
Okay, so it's not an exclusive. HD era.
HD era, so it's basically the Wii on. So
Yeah.
Well, don't include the Wii in that conversation.
well, but the Wii is part of. No, see, that's why I say it that way. That's why I say it that way. HD era.
Does it have to be an HD? Does that include?
No,
does it make it an
HD era starts with the Wii, Xbox
Is this
360,
an HD game?
Wii, Xbox 360, and PS3. That's the HD era. Everything after that. So I'm gonna go developer. Is this a Ubisoft game?
No.
Okay. Todd.
Was this released? Should we go console specific? Oh, it's not console specific. Should we go genre?
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe something side-scrolling versus 2D versus 3D side-scrolling, because there's tons of those.
Well, how about this? Is this a first-person shooter?
No.
Okay.
All right. So it's not a console exclusive.
It's HD era.
HD era. All right. Let's see. I mean, there's a ton of questions we could use to narrow it down. I'm trying to find the one that can chop it right in the middle. But I can't. All right. How about, is it a side-scrolling game?
No.
All right. So it's not first-person shooter, not side-scrolling. So it could be 3D action adventure. Could be a fighting game.
Could be an RPG.
Could be an RPG.
Strategy game.
Is it in the most recent generation of consoles? And by most recent generation, I mean
PS4,
Xbox One, Nintendo Switch.
Does that include the Wii U?
No.
It has appeared on these consoles.
All three.
You mean like Switch?
Switch. Yes.
Yes.
No. Not all three.
Okay.
So it'd be Wii U, PS4, and.
I mean, if it was on Switch, that narrows it down to like 8 games.
I know
Exactly. That's why I was asking that. I was open. This is question.
Are there any games?
Todd, go ahead.
Snake Pass. That'd be like the only one that's on all.
I know. I was like, how many of those are there? Shovel Knight, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Was this? Was this an RPG?
No.
Oh.
All right, and it's not made by Ubisoft. Did you say it is on the current gen? So that means Xbox One, PS4 at least, right? Okay.
It has appeared on current gen
It
consoles.
has appeared on current gen consoles. You didn't say which ones, but, but it's appeared on.
So
it's probably a re-release.
It could be like the Borderland collection. Could be something like that. Where
But it's not a first-person shooter.
I wouldn't do collections.
Oh, well, not a collection. So
or remasters. I would not do a remaster or a collection.
All right, but so it could be something like a Castle Crashers that came out on the last gen and then was re-released on this gen.
But he said it appeared on 2 of the 3.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make it easy for you. It released on last gen and this gen at the same time.
Oh my.
That's your free hint for the round.
Call of Duty.
Oh my god. It's not the Remancers because Ubisoft. Oh my goodness.
Okay, so what came out at the same time? I guess Shadows of Mordor came out at the same time, right?
Yes.
Metal Gear Solid 5 came out at the same time.
Yep.
Destiny. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag came out at the same time.
Ubisoft game, not an Ubisoft game.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Destiny.
But a fighting game. Fighting game?
Street Fighter.
Tekken came out. Street
Fighter
4.
Street Fighter 4 came out at different times.
it did
But
not
it was
come out.
only on PS. Street Fighter 4 came out a long time ago.
But I think
5 is only a PS4 game.
I think 4 was staggered though. I think.
But Mortal Kombat.
Injustice.
Yeah, Injustice. Yeah.
All right, whose turn is it to ask? Is it my turn to ask something?
It is yours, Tim.
Is this a action adventure game?
Yes.
Ooh,
It is an action adventure game.
All right, so it's probably something like a Shadows of Mordor.
That is where it's classified.
What are you using, Wikipedia?
What about Tomb Raider?
I am using Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Well, what about Tomb Raider? That came out on
Tomb Raider, the
PS3
reboot?
and- yeah, the whatever it's called.
Was the
first
reboot
Tomb Raider.
simultaneous on both? He
Nope.
said simultaneous, right?
Not simultaneous. No, it was released, and then I believe they brought out like the extra nice version.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
definitive or something.
Yeah, the spiffy version.
Okay.
Oh, is this? We're not doing like. Oh no, there's no banned games, thankfully. those were dead by the
Ah,
He was thinking about me.
end.
So we've ruled out like obviously first-person shooters. I mean, we ruled out
Is dead,
sports. It
right?
can't be a sports game because we said it's action adventure. So that really does narrow it down.
Yeah, Just Dance was a Ubisoft game.
Just Dance.
Okay, action.
Just
adventure.
Dance, the great action adventure game.
Who developed?
I'm so happy right now.
Who developed Darksiders?
THQ, I think. Pretty sure. it's THQ.
I think THQ went out of business before PS4 came out, right?
I'm pretty sure that was part of their like fire sale.
And Darksiders and Darksiders 2 both re-released after the original release on current gen.
There you go. So it's not that. But by the way, can you look at that, Corey? Were those made by THQ? Tell me I'm right.
They were published by THQ.
I'll
Again,
take half a point.
no one really argued with you, Tim.
Half a point. All right. I'm still leaning towards Shadows of Mordor. Was that Avalanche?
But wasn't
WB? Who was that?
Shadow of Mordor a Ubisoft game?
No, it was WB.
No, Warner Brothers.
WB.
Was it a
No.
Warner Brother game?
No.
Okay, so it's not Shadow of Mordor. That ruins that.
It's not an Arkham series game. It's let's see. Not a WB, not a Ubisoft, not a shooter. Action adventure. So that kind of takes out all of the those I'm thinking of like the open world games are like Ubisoft, like Far Cry, things like that.
We asked if it was a console exclusive, right?
Yes, and he said it was on all consoles.
Okay, so it can't be some bullshit like Breath of the Wild.
So then it not Ubisoft, not Warner Brothers, not exclusive. So that leaves what? EA?
Yeah, EA. Something like
Capcom? Konami?
Metal Gear Solid
Konami
5.
to make anything? Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah, that could be it. Should we ask, is it a Japanese developed game?
We could ask if it's... Yeah, either that or just ask if it's Konami. That would really narrow it down. But yeah.
Is it a Konami developed game?
No.
Oh.
Destiny.
What about Square Enix?
It's not a first-person shooter.
Tomb Raider.
A lot of Destiny is third person.
No,
It
it's
is when you get
That's
the
not
sword. When you get
when
the
you're in the
sword.
city.
Yeah, when you get the sword.
Oh, the sword. Yeah.
Yep.
But he would have said yes to first-person shooter.
And Destiny is a Activision series.
He would have said yes to
What about
first-person shooter.
Skylanders? Would he go there?
Like Disney Infinity, maybe? Like something in that vein?
Yeah, because those were cross.
Is this? I'd ask if it's a Toys to Life game.
Toys of Life, that gets over everything. Yeah.
All right, is it a Toys to Life game?
Yes.
Oh!
Uh-huh.
Okay, now we can narrow it down. If it's
Is
Activision.
this?
Yeah.
It's either
Is
Activision or
this
Disney.
licensed characters or original characters? Predominantly.
You gotta
'Cause
ask yes or no.
I know. Because stop
You gotta
right there,
ask a
Derek.
yes or no
Stop
Yes,
that.
ask it has to be in a yes or no format, man.
Okay, is this original characters with the exception of Spyro?
That's very specific.
No.
Okay,
Oh.
so it's Disney Infinity.
Well, we
Okay.
got to make sure.
Yeah.
There's Lego Dimensions, too.
There you go,
Was that on
Tim.
both?
Okay, well, I'm just saying it's
Oh
probably
yeah, it
Disney
did come out at the
Infinity
same time. So
because
you
it's
can ask
probably
him.
Disney Infinity because he has all the figures for it.
Yeah.
So
All right.
ask if
Corey, is
Star
this-
Wars is in it. And just move this along.
Corey, was this licensed Disney characters?
Yes.
There
Todd.
we go.
Todd, bring us home.
Take
Give
it
us the
away.
win.
Is this Disney Infinity?
Yes, it is.
Woohoo!
It is Disney.
Oh my goodness.
Got to work harder than that, dear egg.
It's gonna be like Lego
You
Rock
guys were
Band.
really off for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, we were all over the place, but we brought it home.
See, now the counter says 12 questions, so I'm just saying.
Oh,
think
it
we
couldn't
were
have been
in a-
Lego Dimensions because it's oh, we already figured that one out anyway. So well, my brain's broke.
I think we were probably in the 16 range, maybe. That's pretty good.
Shh, shut
No,
up,
that's-
Tim. Tim, you're the guest. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Fathers of the Grind podcast. We release every late Sunday night, early Monday morning, depending on where you live. And so you can find us there, iTunes, we're on YouTube, all that kind of stuff. So check us out there. We've been having more and more guests on recently, by the way. So come check us out. And also on Facebook, we have a Fathers of the Grind Facebook group. You can join us. I'm also on Twitter, @Tim_Nestor. And yeah, that's enough. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
Daddy Grinders is good people in my book.
Oh yeah.
Todd,
Good.
where can we find
Nice.
you?
Secret Friends Unite podcast. All you want to know about superheroes, sci-fi, fantasy, and such. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitter @SecretFriendsU, and we are now in video form on YouTube, so you can see my beautiful face
Your headband.
and potentially my headband will make an appearance.
Dad headband, yo.
Yeah.
Dude, you should do the whole Jim McMahon thing where you just have a white headband and you permanent marker things on it.
Oh, that'd be fantastic! Like sponsorships, like Dorito.
No, not that. But like, instead of saying Roselle, you could be like,
Slave. Yeah. Yeah. So any podcast service, check out our podcast. Have fun. Read more comics.
word.
Word. Matt, where are you at?
Infinite_rewind everywhere I want to be. Be that Twitter, which I never tweet, Instagram, which I rarely post anymore for some reason. The last 3 weeks have been really weird. But you can find me in the NGR group on Facebook, which is NGR Radio. You can find me in the Platinum Achievement Podcast Facebook group. And you can actually find me in Tim's group and Todd's group. So Secret Friends Unite, Fathers of the Grind. I'm also a Hammer Bro because I started that. And if you ever want to co-op some games, find me in the Hammer Bros Inc. group on Facebook. I'm Infinite_rewind.
We need to talk about that, Matt. I think you and Moose need to do a Hammer Bros show.
Probably.
Yeah, you totally do.
but
It's already
we just-
gotten a title. Come on.
We just get drunk. That's all we do.
That's fine.
People would listen.
That's fine. Oh, okay, you can find me at
I'm half inebriated that I might be impressionable enough, and I wasn't done, Derek. You stop. I do like music, which I try and write about on ngrradio.com. I have 4 pieces I'm about to finish, so those will be going up soon. And I do like vinyl quite a bit, so there's that. Corey, take us home.
Are you sure? Are you done?
You
Are
can
sure?
find Corey hunting Koroks.
Yeah.
Nope, I'm done.
Koroks?
I'm done. I found all
Dropping
900
Koroks at
What?
the pool?
He's got the golden
Yeah,
boot.
last night at
He's got a
1:30.
Korok poking out.
Funny.
He's got a Korok
God.
prairie dogging.
Is that a Korok in your pocket?
Is that a
is.
Korok in your pocket, or are you happy to see me? And why does it smell that
Corey,
way?
stand up from your seat. Is there a Korok there?
I'm holding in a pretty large Korok right now. So you can find me.
This is like that Hardy
on
Boys
Twitter.
episode of South Park. I got a really big Korok right now.
You can find me at Corey Hudson and HD on Twitter, Corey and HD on Instagram. You can find me in the NGR Radio Facebook group. You can find this show every Monday at 10 a.m. except for this week because I messed up on publishing. That's okay. And you can find us, our Facebook group at facebook.com/group/NGR Radio Podcasts. Follow all these other guys. They do great shows and great stuff. So make sure you check them all out. Tim, thank you for coming on.
You got it, man.
I love your show.
Thanks for having me on.
It's a staple in my podcast listenings. Todd,
Glad to hear it. Cool, thanks.
Thank
I
you,
listen
Tim.
to your show all the time too. So, Matt, I deal with you every week. I don't need to say anything to you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for watching. And we love you.
Thanks, guys.
Banana and out.
Be the hero, not the villain.